Hey guys, Matt here, Broken Supercoach, checking in. Looks like Supercoach literally just reset, so we've had. Um, it's a weird week, right? For Supercoach, really weird week. We got 20k in the round, so not a great score, 2300. I think it's low. With Bont doing what he does, and we had Neil and Steele who are just worthless. So we dropped a little bit, 8k, but we're okay with that. We boosted to get some extra rookie. I think our cash flows are really nice compared to a lot of people's cash flow. So I think we're pretty happy with that. Um, yeah, 8 and 9, all good. Would have liked to have gone up, but just made the wrong call, and we're probably going to have to pay for it now, I think. I think we've ignored Bomb for too long. I genuinely think we've got to pay up for him. Yeah, so 23, 28. So let's have a look how we went. We'll do a quick review of the lines. So looped Chincotta and Mitchell, and he looks really good, Chincotta. Throw him back on field because he looks great. So we're pretty happy with that. If you didn't watch the trade video, we traded in Steel. What a joke. We traded in Chincotta and we actually boosted because we were quite worried. We took Simpson, skipped Angwin. Quite worried about what sort of rookies are on the horizon. So that brings us down to 2 boosts. I'm not too fussed. I just don't think there's enough rookies on the horizon that we're going to need that many boosts. I reckon we might burn them in the week after, and then maybe once during the bye, who knows. But yeah, I think we're using boost quite well. We're happy with that. It's not a boost week this week for sure. Yeah. So anyway, Simpson came in, fielded him, nearly ruined my loophole. VC'd Oliver, who ended up being probably the right call. I was thinking about captaining Steele. Can you believe that? Gee, that would have been a disaster. Actually, would have been a disaster week if I'd done that. So really happy Oliver came through. Could have VC'd Dawson, which probably would have been smarter, but won that. Yeah, Zeeble, somehow he scored 180 doing literally nothing in a footy game. I don't know how. Sometimes, don't get me wrong, I really enjoy Supercoach. I love it. I think it's a really good gauge on good players. But you're not going to sit here and tell me that Tom Green had a worse game than Zeeble did. This bloke just kicked it around the back line for 4 quarters of footy and got 180 points out of it. You've got to be joking. Well, anyway, I'll take it because he's in my team. And he's looking really good for us. And he's quite lowly owned from what I imagine, 25. So we're pretty happy with what he's doing for us. I think we picked him up around here. I might have picked him up here. I can't remember, but either way, we've got some very good scores out of him, and he looks like a keeper. He's back to the old Zeeble. But fitness is an issue, obviously. Anything can happen with Zeeble. Dawson looked good again. Dacos is getting tagged 2 weeks in a row, but I think some people might worry about that and start trading him out because people will say, "Oh, the Crows worked him out. You can tag him," and then Sydney have tagged him. But in fact, Sydney did that last time. Last time he played Sydney, they tagged him as well, 62. But teams haven't worked him out. They just know that he just can be tagged by a good tagger, but you've actually got to have a good tagger. So, having said that, GWS next up, Carlton next up. So probably the 4 teams who are good taggers come up. But then North, West Coast, Melbourne. After the buys, he goes off. So he's a keeper. I'm not worried about him. I'm absolutely not worried about him at all. Tom Stewart, shook the tag a little bit. Got half tagged. Wasn't really a hard tag like it was the week before. We'll take 99. Love that. Luke Ryan's been sick. I can't understand why he's not on everyone's radar. He's been so good. Just reliable points. Yeah, in the middle. Yeah, Lockie Neal. I haven't seen a game because Ashcroft. We'll talk about the same game where just everyone was tagging everyone. I just couldn't get they had a tag on Neal, they had a tag on Ashcroft. Ashcroft was tagging someone else. It was just this conga line. It was it's frustrating to say the least. 60 out of him, and he's done nothing for us. He's dropped 80k. This could have been Bont when we started, so it's pretty annoying that we didn't start Bont. We've got a 70 out of him, a 60 out of him. These scores were unheard of throughout Bont's history. This is a bloke we used to score in these type of numbers. But all good. Hopefully resumes form at the Gabba against Essendon and gets some more form against Gold Coast, and we'll see how he looks. Yeah, Tom Green. I've already spoken about him. He was sick. Steele. Look, his break even was 120, but the concern. So we lost 13k on him. The concern was that he could have ripped up against North, but he basically took the game off because North did as well. We played rookie roulette with these blokes and lost by 1 point. So sometimes you win. And then this Ashcroft, like, I don't know. He was. I mean, it was kind of a tag, but it wasn't really. Thing is that Ashcroft is not a keeper. He's made us 170k. You know, there's not enough people to go down to. This is the frustrating part. I don't think there's enough rookies on the horizon to actually trade Ashcroft this week. His break even's only 70, so he'll probably make that. The week after is where the concern is. So I think you can probably hold Ashcroft this week if you have to address someone else. So, you know, if we're talking of these guys, there is actually no one else to really address. Maybe Hollins. If you don't trust Hollins over Ashcroft, like, you could do that. Otherwise, you know, I think everyone's trading JBR this week, so I think that's the call. Realistically, everyone's going to trade Van Room. We'll talk about him in a minute. English Marshall, they're the Rucks. Like, that's who we're stuck with. If you got Grundy, Gawn looks really good. I think you can make that trade now. Yeah, Gawn looks sick. What's his price now? Gas, I've typed. Yeah, Gawn 512. Break even of 80. Looks killer. Just looks killer. I'd be worried about his buy. Round 14 is pretty common buy from what I remember, but so is Marshall. And if you have Grundy, it doesn't matter. He's on the same buy. So, yeah, he looks sick. He's got some pretty favourable opponents coming up in Hawthorn and Port. Not Freo, but yeah, Hawthorn and Port. He's got some pretty favourable scores coming up. So break even of 80. If you want Gawn, you can get him now. If you want to talk about Gawn, the only thing I'd talk about with him is I'd be worried about. I mean, I wouldn't do Marshall to him, and I wouldn't do Darcy to him, but I would do obviously Grundy, and if you've got the Richmond guy, but then can you fit him in? Because I'm talking about Samson Ryan. You know, can you get up to Gawn from Samson Ryan? Do you even want to trade Samson Ryan now? So that's the hard part about this game, where you've only got 3 rucks. Most of us have a loop or Samson Ryan here not ready to go. So, yeah, you know, I'd prefer 4 ruck spots if I was honest, but that's me. Whether it's 3 on field, I don't know. That seems weird, but 3 on field and a bench, I don't know. They gotta freshen up the ruck position when it comes to Supercoach, if I'm being honest. Yeah, next up there was this Canelio. This is a classic Canelio. Canelio is going to be F6. He's going to be in the best 6 forwards, I should say, but he's going to give you that. Every now and then he's just going to drop one of these stinkers on you, and then he's going to turn around and drop a 150 on Collingwood or something next week. That's just what he does. So he's a marathon player. You know, every now and then you're going to get rubbish from him, but the longer you have him, the more chance you have of getting these good games as well. So, yeah, Chandler looks sick. Sheasel, glad we held him. A lot of people traded him out. You're trolling if you are. That's unbelievable. I think he's until we see evidence of it, this man is a keeper. Until we see evidence. So, you know, it might get to after his bye. He might come back and the Crows might tag him. He plays Sydney. Sydney might tag him. So, he'll have some lower scores that'll cause people to waver, but yeah, I think I'll keep him in the forward line for sure. Yeah, Dunkley's a god. Yeah, apparently had a worse game than Zeeble though, just kicking around doing absolutely nothing. Keep that in mind. Taranto looks good, so these two are sick. Rosie, I've loved this pick. I'm glad that I picked him up. And that's about it. So we got Chandler. So what are we gonna do this week? There's really only one rookie from what I glanced at last week. There might be more. I don't think it's worth going early on anyone. So the choice will be something like, I think JVR is who you have to trade. He's one. He's suspended for 2 weeks. Whether he gets off or not is a different story. But he's not scoring. He's breaking 60 anyway. So I think he's got to go. He's made us 120k. He's been good. Let's get rid of him. And then the other option is whether you do Hollands or whether I can do Long, but I'm still pretty confident that Long comes back, which would be crazy. What do we want to address? We actually don't want to address. We're happy with everyone here on field. We might even send Roberts down and see if we can't get a midfielder through someone. So the first thing you have to do is bring in the bloke called Weddle. So in order to get him on field, you got to bring in this guy. So Weddle's done 38 and a 54. Not great, but he's making money, and that's all I care about. So in he comes. Weddle in the defense. He's not on field. No risk of playing, so don't worry about that. So we've got 239, which actually gives us not a lot to work with. If we're going to trade Hollands, that's 529. So what does that get us? Nearly nothing. 725k, Bontempelli. My God. Set his break even still 124. So he's out of reach. I'm not gonna go crazy like that. But guys who aren't out of reach are someone like Noah Anderson. I wish I had done this instead of Steele. But I think this is a really good pick. It's probably too late now. But I think this is a really good pick. Petrarca, probably a really good pick. Can't afford these guys, sadly. So this is really frustrating. So we're just going to have a look through, see what we can get. Let's filter to players I can afford and see if there's anyone at all. Otherwise, it's just a one down. So Goulden, so do I think he's best 6 in the forwards? I've got 5. This would be my last forward. So do I bite the bullet on Goulden? Didn't lose a lot on him there. He's looked decent. I might finally bring him in, maybe. It's a hard maybe. And all of these blokes. Like, what's all this? Tom Mitchell, no. Slybottom, probably not. Probably not. Tim Kelly, nah. Yeah, these are all pitiful picks, aren't they? Like, these are sorry efforts here. So what about guys who are in some sort of form? Not really. So we're not getting a mid. That's for sure. Could be Goulden. So let's just shuffle up to see if we can get any forwards. So sorry, we'll go average. We like going average. So again, it's Goulden, Machito Owens. Yeah, no. None of these. I'm not going to consider Bailey Smith, am I? I'm not. I can't. Like, I'm actually joking if I'm doing that. And then let's just send. Say it's. How do we get? You can't even. Oh, if Seamus Mitchell goes forward. Defenders. So there's really no one. There's actually no one to do here. And I'm not going to boo. So the question is, was there a second rookie to bring in? Because then we just won't trade Hollands. We might just do one trade and hold it out. Is there a second rookie that played? No. This is defense, so there kind of wasn't. Brody Kemp, they're too expensive. In the mid. No. So not really. And was there a... Oh, I've ruined this big time, haven't I? Was there a forward? No. So there's not even any rookies to bring in. So if I'm being really honest here... Now, how did I mess that up? Why can't I... Oh, it's broken it. Yeah, fair enough. Van Rooyen there. And then we just go... You down. And we'll get well. So it could just be I think it's a pretty quiet week. It's a hold week. Keep 230k in the bank. There's no way to get down. There's no way to get up to Bont. So we've just got to death ride him. So that's how it's going to be. It's a pretty average week, honestly. It's a pretty boring week. Bank this money. Just hope Hollands doesn't lose too much. Maybe Long comes back. Keep rolling along. Chandler's due soon, so hopefully we've got someone for him coming up soon. And that's about how we're going to look. Now, what are we going to do as far as captaincy options? They're not playing a Friday night game. What's this? That's weird. I hate the way they do this Friday night game, but it's not a Friday night game because no one's going to be actually watching it. And probably rightly so. West Coast and Gold Coast. All right. So GWS on the Sunday, that's sick for us, although I have heard that Nick Madden's fit, or he's coming up on being fit soon. I expected around 9 to 10. So that'd be hilarious if he actually plays. So that'd blow our loop, wouldn't it? So we probably look at something like into Dawson, Oliver. So probably Oliver into Dawson again. What's Oliver do against Hawthorn usually? Decent scores. You can't look at that history there. So that's probably what we do there. One thing I wouldn't mind trying is if we undo the changes. I don't think it matters. I can't get to Ashcroft anyway, can I? So I won't bother. I won't bother even trying. I can't get to, Bond. That gives me an extra 100k, so it gets me 600. So, and I'm not going to trade Ashcroft because he's still 71 break even. He'll do that next week. Anyway, that's that week. Not a great week, but we'll take it. Yeah, I'll chat to you guys during the week.